Welcome to Nightmare Echoes. Listen, scream, and embrace your horror obsession. In this episode, Jesse is back for our Christmas episode as we cover P2. Is he just a lonely security guard in need of a friend? What was it like working with animals? And would you sick a dog on your true love? Next week on the podcast is Wreck. But until then, a movie to help you prepare for the worst this holiday season, P2.
Hope you already saw P1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host, Elzar. I'm joined again by Jesse. Jesse, how's it going?
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say Merry Christmas as we're coming to you with our Christmas episode. This should drop December 23rd. And
Merry Christmas indeed. And, happy whatever.
Yeah, I wore my Santa Claus shirt and my reindeer socks for this occasion. Even though the listeners can't see them.
I was going to say, I guess it just makes you more sincere, right?
It makes me feel like I'm in the spirit, you know what I
see.
mean? Yeah, completely. I think my wife looked at me strange, like, why are you dressed like it's Christmas?
And you were like, because it's Christmas. What are you
It's
talking
Christmas.
about?
Exactly. All right, so today we're watching P2. It's starring Rachel Nichols, who I love from G.I. Joe. She was also in Star Trek, the Abrams one. She was the hot green chick that Captain Kirk was making out with.
I like the idea. Star Trek, the original series. Star Trek, the Next Generation. Star Trek, the Abrams one.
They call it the Kelvin universe. I forget that all
I
the
know.
time.
I'm going with TAO. Star Trek, the Abrams one. Yeah.
No, the TA. Oh, okay, got it. Because TAS was the animated series.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting nerdy. All right. She was also in the Amityville Horror 2005 remake and a movie I just watched, The Inheritance, where that one's like one really rich guy invites all his heirs back to let them know that he's going to die. He's written in his will that if he dies that night, no one gets any money. So they're all encouraged to try to protect his life.
Nice.
And they're like, what the heck? So it was interesting. And it was nice to see Rachel Nichols act again, because I don't think I've seen her anything else in a while before that. Then it also stars Wes Bentley, who I know from Yellowstone, and he's also in The Hunger Games, and he was in Interstellar. Did you want to do a quick summary of this before we started?
Sure. It's a movie that is about a woman who stays after hours at her job on Christmas Eve and soon finds herself trapped in the parking garage, and there's a reason why, and the reason is a man who is a little bit off.
Lonely.
Yeah, just lonely. A little bit lonely, that's
yeah.
all. Completely harmless and nothing scary
He
happens
just
at all.
wants to help her.
Yeah, that's right. He only wants to help her, and lots of helping happens, and they help each other a lot. It's the end of the movie. It's just wholesome.
Right. Great. Okay, so we thought it was a fun Christmas movie without doing the obvious Black Christmas or Krampus, which we might do in following years, but I wanted to do a fun Christmas movie that maybe everybody hasn't heard of, and I thought this was a good one to do. So the movie starts, we are seeing images of a parking garage, and it focuses right on a pillar that has stencils on it, P2. And we will see that a lot in this movie. I stopped counting after the first 8 minutes because it was shoving it in our faces.
I'm impressed that you even were counting to begin with. I mean, I don't think it would have occurred to me to count the number of times I saw P2.
Well, it just got ridiculous. It got out of hand. You're like,
I see.
Yeah. We have the song Santa Baby playing, and we see this lone car that is a BMW 1989 525i, according to Internet Movie Car Database. And we see that this all of a sudden crowbar pops out of the trunk, and this woman's screaming, and she busts out, and then we cut to way earlier in the same night.
One of those. They want to. Whenever you see that, you got to think, okay. So what that tells me is it's a while before the action happens, because
Yes.
they wanted to hook you at the beginning. They had to skip forward in the movie to do
Right.
it.
At least they didn't go as far as to do a clip from the very end of the movie, because
Yeah.
there's a movie.
I've seen that before. It's a little annoying because it takes so long to get to it.
Right. Well, Don't Breathe is a movie kind of similar. Instead of home invasion, it's really the people are breaking into the house to try to steal money from a blind man, but they don't realize this blind man's pretty much a badass. And they're like, don't know what to get in for. But the opening shot is him dragging one of the characters by the hair through the streets. Mm-hmm. So okay, every time you see her trapped in the house, and she hasn't made it outside yet,
Yeah.
know
It spoils it.
Well, she's gonna make it outside eventually because
Yeah.
you see him dragging her by the hair.
That's unfortunate. That's a
Yeah.
bad choice.
So I think that movie didn't do a great job, but this movie did a
Right.
good job of there's some action. Wait for it, it'll happen.
They didn't. That one scene doesn't spoil it at all.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. So we get the title card that says P2. We have Rachel Nichols, who's playing Angela. She's talking to one of her bosses on her phones about this deal that she made, and the lawyers gave her the wrong information. So he wants her on Christmas Eve to rewrite the thing to say something like, instead of saying $2 million, to say $3 million. Because as he puts it, the lawyers are idiots. And she agrees to do it, even though it's Christmas Eve. At the same time, her sister's calling her. She's telling her that, hey, we're all waiting for you. And she's like, yeah, I'm almost done here. I'll be there soon. I just got to finish up here at work. One of her friends, or maybe she works for her, her name is Jody. She tells her that Mr. Harper's looking for her. Angela kind of just brushes it off. She's like, okay, that's fine. But keeps working. Then a little later, Mr. Harper comes in, and right away he's starting to apologize for an event that we don't know what happened. But he's saying he was too drunk. It was a party.
And it's very awkward. And she's clearly just trying to get like, okay, just go away, right? Like, and
Yes.
he's like, no, I have to apologize and draw this out as much as possible.
Yeah.
And, she's like, oh my freaking God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's one of those moments where you're like, yeah, you people have been in that situation before. Maybe not that exact situation, but
Sure.
you've always had somebody belabor something. And you're like, really, I just prefer you just drop it.
And then we get where she's finally grabbing her stuff. She's walking down the hall. She bumps into the security officer, Carl, and they both get scared in this little funny jump scare. He says he was just locking up the building, didn't realize that anybody was still working. And she says, well, if you give me a second, I'm going to grab all my stuff. I'll lock my door and I'll take the elevator down with you. Carl is played by Philip Akin, who was in Cube 2 Hypercube, but also a regular in The Highlander for season 2 and season 3.
I would also like to point out here that if there's one thing I've learned from horror movies, it's that whenever you have a whole bunch of problems at once and you're expected to be more than one place at a time and solve more than one problem at a time, you're under a lot of stress, you're probably going to get abducted or murdered or something.
Yeah?
So I should definitely be afraid every time I'm stressed out, and then that will add to my stress.
Well, I know that. So at work, we have a parking garage for employees only if you go down. Levels, there's 7 levels above ground. There's 3 levels below ground.
Mm-hmm.
If you go below ground, it's just limited to hospital staff. But I know a lot of people that are women that say, oh, absolutely not. I'm not parking underground ever.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's a safety thing. They're worried for their safety when they go there. So I could see how this kind of thing would also worry someone about getting abducted. To your
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of horror movies play off of something that's a real fear, you know?
Yeah. So she takes the elevator down with Carl. There's a married couple that gets on and are arguing over visiting the woman's parents. The man believes that her parents hate him, and she says that's not true. And they're just a little argument while Carl and Angela are trying to just have a normal conversation without the awkwardness. It's just weird. When they exit, she tells Carl bye, have a good Christmas. Carl does mention here that the building is closed for the next 3 days. So we know that there's going to be no help showing up for a while.
Right.
And she takes the elevator down to P2. As she gets to her car, the car doesn't start. She cranks it 4 times, maybe 6 times. It never turns over. So then she grabs all her stuff. She's carrying a lot of stuff. She's got like a dress for the party, a giant teddy bear,
Yeah.
multiple Christmas presents in big packages.
Which for me further adds to the tension, right?
Right.
Because, I mean, it kind of logically shouldn't, because you can just drop it if there's a problem, but, like, it adds to the feeling of tension.
So she tries to go back to the door that she went to the elevators, but it's locked. So once you leave, you can't get back to the elevators, which forces her to find the security office, which luckily is in the parking garage.
Now, this part, I was immediately like, wait a second. There's no emergency exits?
Yeah.
There's no way that's legal.
That happens again in a little bit where I was like, no, there's no way that she couldn't get right outside from here.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be emergency exits. They usually have to have a lot of them. Even one isn't enough.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it bothered me a bit. But
Yeah, I agree with you. She walks over to the security office. We have another jump scare where the dog jumps out at her and starts barking. Wes Bentley's character, who's Thomas, grabs the dog. We find out the dog's name is Rocky and asks it to calm down. She asks him if he would unlock the door for her to get back up so that she can catch a cab because her battery died. And he says, maybe you turn the lights on. And she's like, I definitely did. I'm really good at that. And he goes, oh, well, we have a jumper. So maybe I could jump the car and help you get out of here. So she lets him try.
wait, isn't that where he makes another creepy remark about, like, this guy says some creepy things right off the
Oh,
bat.
sure.
Right? Like at some point here, he makes some remark about like, well, you could just have dinner with me. I have dinner, and you're like, what the hell, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, I mean, like it's a joke, right? Like,
Yeah, so I think the first time he does it is right after the car doesn't jump because he hooks it up to the batteries. And I looked up a guide. He does do the right battery on the right port.
yeah.
But I don't know that he turned on the jumper. He just made her crank it. I don't know that he turned on the jumper.
I see what you're saying.
So when she kind of gets short with him, but not in a bad way because he isn't taking her want to get up there and get a cab seriously.
Yeah, I feel like she was being normal, and he was. I mean, they did a good job of making him look like the strange one.
Right. But he tries to make her feel like she's being rude to him. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to help.
Yeah, but that just came across looking weird. Like,
Right.
what is this? What is
So
this deal? Like,
when he's opened the door for her to get back in the elevator, he goes, oh, you could just stay and have dinner with me. I have prepared a Christmas dinner. And she's like, she looks at him like, are you serious? Because he hasn't opened the door yet.
Yeah.
And then he's like, ha, just kidding. She's like, oh, I'm so tired. I didn't realize that was a joke. That's funny.
Right.
Yeah, okay. She says maybe a rain check.
Yeah.
Which I will tell you, the HR guides tells you, don't say that. If you're never going to want to follow up on that, just say no right here. Not
Yeah.
that I think it would have been a good answer for him anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, there's no winning in this situation.
Yeah. So back on the first floor, she's shocked that Carl isn't around because he's always supposed to be near that desk. But she does call a cab on her flip phone.
And that was when I knew what time period the movie is from. Whenever the character pulls out their phone, that's when you find out the era, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, at first, I thought it was recent for some reason, like last couple of years. Then I saw the phone. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
This is an old movie.
Yeah. On the phone, she finds out the wait is really long, and they ask her if she still wants to wait. And she's like, definitely, she wants to wait. She leans back her head and falls asleep, and we get CCTV footage of her being watched on the camera, just sleeping there.
Yeah, that's right. They have a lot of scenes in the movie that are shown through the CCTV cameras in the beginning of the movie, just to kind of emphasize this whole someone's watching you sort of thing without even really showing who it is.
Right. And then as the cab pulls up, it calls her on her phone to wake her up. She's like, oh, yeah, I'll be right there. She grabs all her stuff, goes to the door, and it just won't open. It's locked. She runs to the security desk, pushes a button, but by the time she gets to the door, it won't open because you have to be pressing it as you're trying to exit.
Yeah.
But this is where I felt like, hey, come on. There's no emergency exit.
Right.
You should be able to get outside.
Yeah.
She, knowing that she's going to be trapped again.
Or put a heavy object on the buzzer. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, but the teddy bear, well, she would have had to lost one of her gifts.
Unless
maybe.
there was an object near, like a chair, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, she didn't think it through. But she was in a panic to get to that cab before the cab left.
Yeah.
She asked the cab to wait. She runs back down to the parking garage, even though she knows she's not going to be able to get back up. She runs to the gate and pushes the intercom, asking for Thomas to open the gate to let her out. And then she sees the cab drive away. She tries to call it on her cell phone, but she sees that in the parking garage, she has no cell service.
Yeah.
And then this is where things get really creepy. All the lights turn off. She flips open her cell phone, which doesn't have a flashlight. It's just the light that illuminates from the screen.
That's the way they were back then.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this isn't good. Then she's obviously carrying all her stuff that I mentioned. She's still carrying all that big teddy bear, all her Christmas presents. She trips over something, and the phone slides under her car. She reaches to get it. She stands up. When she puts the phone to her face, you see Wes Bentley's character, Thomas, standing right behind her, which was freaking creepy.
Yes.
And then he chloroforms her.
Yeah.
And knocks her out.
I mean, right in. Finally, we're getting into the action for real here.
Yeah.
This is the part where I start being like, okay. Yeah.
So we have a clip for maybe just a second, blink and you miss it, where we see that Thomas is now dressed up as Santa Claus. And she's dressed in a sexy white dress that she was definitely not wearing before, because she was wearing like a business button-up shirt with maybe a long skirt.
And there's a scene later that calls to mind, that shows you what must have happened in between. But surely most people are immediately thinking, like imagining in their head what must have transpired.
And then the worst,
right?
because he obviously dressed her, but he could have done anything while she was out.
Exactly. That's exactly like what I was thinking.
So she's out of it still. She's trying to recover her brain. Still trying to get over the chloroform. She asks what's happening. He says that she fell and he's just trying to help her. She says she's going to be sick. He goes to give her water and she tries to run from the chair and trips because her foot is handcuffed with a long chain to the chair. And so she falls over. He gets her up and puts her back in the chair.
I think it was to the table.
Was it to the table?
I thought it was. I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Either way, she's handcuffed. It's a long chain.
Yeah.
And she can't get out.
Yeah.
And so she's trying to figure out what she's coming to consciousness. And then all of a sudden she starts seeing that the table is laid out like this romantic dinner. They're in his security office and the dog is there just guarding her. While Thomas is trying to set up the table and the meal, she tries to test the chain to see how hard it is tied to her and to the point where she's secured at.
And that dog is a creep. You
Yeah.
know?
I watched some interviews with them, and they said the dog really loved Wes Bentley, and the dogs really hated Rachel Nichols. They had 3 different dogs play Rocky, and none of them liked her.
That's amazing.
So it worked well for casting.
Yeah.
But it just like, oh my gosh. So she says, like, hey, I have obligations. I have places to be. He tells her that, oh, you never make time for yourself. You're always working for others. Even your family's too much of an obligation. Some point here, she asks what happened to her clothes, and he says they got dirty when you fell, so I changed it for you.
He's so considerate. Like, he's only thinking of her, you know?
Yeah, he wants her to have a good dinner without the stress.
What a sweet man. Even if his dog is a creep.
Right? Oh, man. So she tells him, but I have plans, and he tells her some plans were meant to be broken. As he's serving her food, you can see that she's starting to cry. He asks if she'll say grace, which I kind of laughed out loud at.
Yeah.
And he goes, never mind. I was never really religious anyway. Then he starts to describe their love through Hemingway and how a good boyfriend would forgive his woman no matter all of her faults.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is going on in his brain right now? Then she tries to say that she has a boyfriend and then he's going to come. And he starts rapidly firing questions like, oh, what kind of car does he drive? Oh, what job does he do? And she eventually can't think of one fast enough.
Right.
So he knows she slipped. But then he tells her he knows way more about her than she thought as he names every member of her family.
Because he's been watching her for years through all these cameras, right?
Right.
Like,
So he makes her call her sister to say she's not going to make it. She gets on the phone with her sister and then her mom. And while she's doing this, he has his hands around her neck so that if she were to lie, he would just kill her right there.
I mean,
I don't know that he would have.
I felt like it was such a barely implied threat. I was really surprised especially with how driven a personality she has.
Yeah.
I was surprised she didn't even try to push the limits, see what she could get away with saying, right? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to try to put some pressure on her, but, like, how is he going to do it?
Yeah, I get you. I feel like she gets stronger throughout the movie, but I feel like in the beginning she
Was
didn't believe her.
surprisingly passive.
Yeah,
Surprisingly passive. You could chalk it up to the after effects of the chloroform, too, because they do
that's true.
make it, she's clearly woozy and at first and not all there, so...
Then after the phone, he's all excited and he's like, I got you a present. He runs over like giddy like a schoolboy to grab this present. And he's like, come on, open it. Don't you want to open it? And when she opens it, she pulls out a VHS tape and he says, I bet you're curious now. And I'm like, yeah, I am. What's on that tape? Like the viewer wants to know what's on that tape.
You're just a sicko. You just want to see her undressed.
That's not what I thought was on the tape.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, I mean, if you want to see her undressed, watch Star Trek, okay? She's got green on and everything. It's this whole Alien King thing. It works. Just kidding. So he says enough torture, and he's going to play the tape. And we see near this TV VCR combo that he's got going on, there's also a little miniature of Elvis there, which comes into play later. Then the tape shows the event that Jim Harper was apologizing for earlier. And her in the elevator. Jim's wearing these ranger antlers. When the elevator's moving, he forces himself onto her or attempts to. She's able to push him off, fight him off, and get out of the elevator. Thomas then puts on a security belt, and he said that they're going to go for a stroll. He says that people like Harper do whatever they want and they always get away with it. He unlocks her chain, and as he does it, even though she looks at the dog, she grabs a fork, she stabs him in the back. Rocky comes over barking, and he holds him back. Thomas tackles her to the ground and handcuffs her hands behind her back. And she is handcuffed for a long time in this movie. Afterwards...
You know, some people are into that.
Yeah. So afterwards, he pulls the fork out of his own back, places a jacket around her because he's a gentleman, doesn't want her to be cold. He puts her in the car. She says, if you let me go, I won't tell anybody. And he sarcastically says, oh, I believe you. I just I want to show you something first.
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't really become an action hero till the end.
Yeah.
If she was an action hero that early on, when she stabbed him with a fork, she would have said, "Fork you," or something like that, right? but she didn't yet.
That's funny. So in the car, he says, let's put this behind us, and seems really excited to show her the next surprise. He is driving a 1985 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme with a license plate 4K7 2S41.
Ah, it's interesting. It's got a fork in it.
Yeah. While driving, he jokes that he had drinking too much wine. He's driving back and forth and swerving. He says that he watched her drive out of the garage so many times, and it's so weird that they're in the same car together. Like, it's just weird.
It's just weird. How did that happen?
She sees that they're going lower down. They're now going into P3, and she thought he wanted to go out for a drive, and he goes, oh, it's too cold out there for you. I wouldn't want to do that
Yeah,
to
we're
you.
going to drive down to hell instead.
Yeah. So then we drive all the way to P4. When they arrive, she is shocked to see that Jim Harper is taped to a chair. He's got duct tape over his mouth, and he's all taped up so he can't move off his chair. And conveniently, though, it is a rolly chair. So
yeah, you want to be able to transport him easily.
yeah. So he pulls over. She's like, why is he here? He says that he tried to rape you. And she's like, he hardly tried to rape me. He just tried to kiss me at a party, and it was a mistake. He already apologized, and he drank too much. And Thomas gets mad. He's like, you need to stop defending him. He treats you like a whore. Why?
Well, he also says he's done this to a lot of other people too.
That's
right.
right,
Like,
yeah.
He's been watching him, and that's an interesting point because like they don't make it totally just he's just psycho and that like
Right.
he actually kind of has a little bit of a point. Like okay,
Yeah.
the guy's a little bit more of an asshole than he's, but at the same time he's also a freaking psycho, right?
Yes,
Like-
yeah. So he tries to hand her a massive flashlight. I will point out her hands are still handcuffed behind her, so she couldn't grab it if she wanted to. But she's still defending him the whole time. He's like, no, take it and teach him a lesson. And she's like, no, I don't want to. He's really a good guy. He's got a family and all this stuff.
She should have used it on him.
Well, she finally agrees to accept the flashlight. He goes, no, you're too innocent. I don't want you to do this.
He realizes.
You'll scar yourself. I better do it.
Yeah.
So he goes out there and he like starts wailing on him. He thinks he hits him like 6 times with this massive flashlight. He's definitely bleeding all over his head and all over his face. Then he gets back in the car. He starts to back away, and she's like, we can't just leave him here. And he's like, you're right. So he puts the car in forward, speeds up right up to the chair, and then brakes right before hitting it. And you're like, is he teasing him or like what? But then he puts it in drive anyway, slams the car into the wall with Jim stuck between it.
Yeah,
And-
multiple times. Doesn't kill him on the first one.
Oh, I know. He does hit his head pretty hard on that first one, though. But each time his head gets lower until
Yeah.
the last time his head is right at bumper level and it's smashed and just splits right open.
Which is, I mean, the fact that it takes multiple times is a nice detail because that is a slow and miserable death, right?
Yeah.
And one of the fun things about these kind of movies is watching as the character, you gradually learn more and more about how crazy they are, right? Like, at first we thought, okay, he's crazy enough to abduct this woman and think that this is a date. But then it's like, oh no, he's crazy enough to have been stalking her for a while and know all of this stuff. And it's like, oh no, he's crazy enough to have abducted this other guy. And then finally we have the final reveal of, oh, and he's crazy enough to kill the guy.
Yeah.
So I do like the progression.
Yeah. And it's all a present for her.
He's very considerate.
Yeah. So she's able to unlock the door with her handcuffs, hands behind her back. She is able to get out. We see the CCTV footage of him dealing with the body while she's running off trying to scream through this grate that goes to the surface, but no one could hear her.
Which seems a little unlikely to me, but okay.
Yeah. Then she makes her way back to the security office, and Rocky's there waiting for her. There's a landline that doesn't seem to work, so she jumps on top of the desk and crawls over. We see that Thomas is placing pallets up against the wall where Jim was killed. We don't know where he put the body, but he's putting those pallets up so you can't see the blood stain. She grabs her purse, and Rocky starts fighting her for it, but she's able to get her phone out of it. We can see that she has about a third or a quarter of power left, but she has no cell service. She crawls back over the desk and out to the security guard.
This is the scene where she tries like the actual phone that's there, right?
Yeah, and it didn't work.
I don't understand that. Why didn't it work? She was using it before, wasn't she?
Yeah, he must have unplugged it.
If he just unplugged it, can't she just plug it back in?
Maybe. I don't know, unless he cut the wire.
I was a bit confused. They should have shown a cut
Yeah.
wire. That's just
I agree with you.
minor gripe. Minor gripe.
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing, though. She runs to the garage gate and starts yelling for help. And unfortunately, the only person that hears her is this homeless woman pushing a cart who just starts screaming the same thing. Help, someone's trying to kill me, in this like mocking fashion. She tries again for service and finds that if she sticks her hands as far as they can go with the handcuffs on, she gets service. She dials 911, but then Rocky starts barking. She can tell that Rocky and Thomas are close, so it scares her enough to drop the phone. She tries to get it, but her hands get stuck in the garage door. She can't get to it, but she starts whispering like, hey guys, I need help. If you can hear me, if anybody can hear me, please send help. But the phone is just left on after calling 911, but she can't hear if anybody's there to hear her.
Yeah, and it seemed like a long shot that someone would be. But at the same time, I guess she seems to be more hopeful than I would have been.
Well, I know that if someone dials 911, depending on how busy they are, without ever picking up the phone, they will send a car by to check out to make sure. Because my kids, when they were little, accidentally knock over the phone and dial 911 without realizing a cop. First, they try to call back.
But we didn't even know if it dialed, right?
Oh, we don't know if it dialed. But, I mean, later we find out that it did.
Indeed. But at the time, it sure seemed like a long shot.
Yeah. I get what you mean. So then we see Rocky and Thomas coming around the corner. Her hands are stuck in the gate. And by the time they get there, it doesn't seem like there's enough time for her to have done anything. But all of a sudden, she's not there. It felt almost too magical. Or like the film cheated a little bit by not showing us the real progression of time. Because now she's hiding on the other side of the wall when they get there. Oh, sorry. When she was in that security room to get her phone, she also grabbed his security clearance badge to open doors.
Which is a very smart and reasonable thing to do, yes.
Right. So now she's going around trying to figure out which badge opens which doors. She's having a little bit of trouble with this.
I kept waiting for her to start breaking windows, but I guess she doesn't want to make that much noise because it would tell him where she is.
Sure. Yeah, later she's willing to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So on P1, she's able to get into the elevator room, then into the elevator. Before it moves down, she sees Rocky there. She's able to get down to P2, and she gets on the intercom asking for help. She makes the elevator stop between floors P2 and P3 using that emergency stop button. She hits the button. We hear someone over the phone with a heavy accent talking to her, and she's yelling at the person like, please call 911, please call 911. And he's like, hey, the voice on the other end in this heavy accent says, oh no, are you sure he's not just trying to help you?
Oh, yeah.
And that's when you know, oh, crap.
Oh, man, yeah, like, at first I didn't realize it was him. I was like, wait, he has an accomplice or something? Like,
yeah.
Because he did the accent really well.
Yeah, and so she's like all pissed off, and he goes, hey, I just want to talk to you. That's why I pretended to be someone else, so you would just talk to me, which is so freaking creepy.
Yeah.
And then you have her just sitting in the elevator, unwilling to move. Some time passes. We see footage of her on the floor of the elevator, and then him opening the doors manually to P1. He drops down a giant fire hose down the elevator and turns on the water.
Which is clever, man. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know if I would have thought of that.
Yeah, well, I don't plan out these psychopathic things, I guess, but...
Oh, I mean, I do. I like villains. You got to think from the villain's standpoint. What would you do if you were the hero? What would you do if you were the villain?
Okay.
I mean, what if you find yourself a villain someday? Are you going to just be totally unprepared?
I could see... No, I'm not... I don't... No. What I see is thinking from the villain side to know how to protect myself from the way a villain could think.
Such a goody two-shoes.
But if you think too much like the villain, I think it's like the dark hold. It's going to like start sucking you in. You turn evil. Your fingertips start turning black. I don't know. It's a good thing.
Sounds awesome.
So she starts filling up with water everywhere. The lights start flickering. And then all of a sudden, Carl falls through the elevator top, the other security guard. And so she's not sure if he's dead or alive. So in order to save him and herself, really, she finally releases that emergency stop. The thing goes down to P3, it opens, and they rush out of the elevator with all that water. And now she's freaking cold because she's wearing this skimpy white dress. There's water everywhere, and it's the middle of the night, and she's frozen. So with her feet wet, we see it's leaving this trail for Thomas to follow. We see her hiding under a car.
Well, earlier I was going to say, I thought even just the fact that she stopped the elevator, like, I don't know if I would have thought of that as a solution to avoid when it was refusing to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, start stopping the elevator in between. It's just a neat idea, too. Both of them demonstrated some cleverness in that scene, and I love seeing clever solutions to problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas goes over to Carl and starts yelling at him, saying that he messed things up for her. She's hiding under this car, and she starts making some crying sounds. She's hiding under a 2006 Ford Ranger pickup. He pulls out his flashlight, and because he can hear where she's at because she's crying, he stabs one of the tires, which starts lowering it, and if she's not careful, she's going to get crushed by this car if she doesn't move. As he stabs the second tire, she rolls out, and she's able to roll through this opening in kind of the between levels where they're both slanted, so it's not that much of a drop, and she does it twice to get down 2 levels pretty fast, which I thought was a pretty good way to get away from him really fast.
That is clever.
Then we see her cowering somewhere where the ceiling is really low. She's just trying to hide from him and trying to rub her body to stay warm. He goes back to the security office, and this is where he uses that Elvis figure, puts it on top of a record player. He starts broadcasting Blue Christmas over the loudspeaker into the whole parking garage. We see a photo of him dressed as Elvis from some previous event, and then he's dancing around like Elvis, thinking he's the king.
I wonder if he always abducts a woman when he wears one of his outfits.
Oh, I don't know. I guess that would be kind of like a pattern, right? So she gets up. This music, I don't know, motivates her to get an axe out of the fire safety axe, and she starts destroying cameras all over the place.
Which is smart, but at the same time, I think I would have tried using the axe to get through the gate, right?
Yeah, maybe. But she's making her way to him, and it doesn't take her too long to do it. Because he is dancing, he's not noticing as feeds are cutting off, and the camera just keeps replacing it with another working camera.
Right.
So he doesn't notice that they're off. But when she gets to the door, he doesn't seem to be anywhere. She pushes the door open. On the tape now displaying is footage of her from when she was passed out. So you see he's putting on makeup on her. He's feeling her breast. He's feeling her legs. He's feeling her lips. And he's saying something like it was meant to be during this creepy time.
I think this is interesting timing for that scene.
Yeah.
At this point, we already know he's a creep, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess they're just trying to emphasize her beef with him.
Yeah.
And now she's got an axe.
To grind. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So she destroys the TV, and then she sees police on the CCTV trying to get into the building. She tries to talk to the cops, but she doesn't know how to work the intercom. And then he appears behind her and tases her. Then he talks to the cops saying he'll be right there. He then changes his clothes and notices there's a little bit of blood on his face. In the behind the scenes, they talk about how it was so uncomfortable for her because she's wearing the skimpy dress. She gets more and more dirty the whole time. They had a bunch of different dresses to show the progression of her dirtiness. And all he got was a little bit of blood on him. So it's like while filming the movie.
Well, also, though, in this whole scene, she came in with the axe. Where was the dog?
With Thomas.
He had the dog with him?
Because he was taking the dog around earlier to find her. Like when she was at the gate, he was walking around using the dog to try to sniff her out.
Because, man, if that dog had still been chained up there, she could have taken out the creep. Because the dog's a creep,
Yeah, I gotcha. So he goes up to meet the cops, and they ask if there's any cars around, and he tries to make this joke. Well, it is a parking garage, but they do not seem to be in a sense of humor. They're asking him if they got a call here that there was a disturbance. Ask if he heard anything. He's like, no, it's been pretty quiet. It's just me and Rocky. And they go, oh, there's 2 of you working? He goes, sort of. Rocky's my dog, so he's with me all the time. And as they're coming inside, they ask him to hop in the car, so he closes the gate, saying that there's a lot of homeless people and he doesn't want anybody to come in. And they start going down the floors. They drop him off at the security office, and they keep going on their way. He tells them there's a busted water main on 3 to explain all the water so they don't see anything's weird. And this whole time while they're driving through, we see that we're now at the scene from the opening of the movie where she's trapped in that BMW. She's trying to make noise, so he turns back on the Elvis music so they can't hear her screaming over it. They do spend some time looking at the pallets that he had put up against the wall, but I guess they don't pull them down to see the blood.
Why would they even be looking at the pallets? I didn't understand that.
I don't know. But they stopped to see it. And when he looked in the camera, the cop puts the flashlight at the camera, so all he sees is the bright light. And he can't tell what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But then they get back in the car. They start going back up. He tells them he'll take the stairs this time, and he goes up to let them out of the gate. As they're driving by, they crush the cell phone, and she sees them going, and she starts running, starts to scream, but then Thomas is there with the dog, and so she stops screaming.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the cops were right there.
Right, yeah.
Well, they might have heard the scream if you kept going.
Right. And this whole time, she's still in the cuffs, right? Like, she's been in the
Yes.
cuffs the entire movie.
Oh yeah. So part of it earlier, and I didn't mention when she was hiding before she got the axe. Obviously, she was able to do that maneuver where you take the cuffs.
And put your legs through to put them
Yeah.
in front of you. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So now she's running around with them in front of her. But yeah, she's cuffed for a long time
For
in
a
this
long
movie.
time. You would have think the axe maybe could, but then again, it's hard to picture how you would use the axe.
Right.
Yeah.
Then he finally releases Rocky to go chase her, and man, could she run fast. So she's running. She runs to this rental car place that he'd mentioned earlier. She smashes through this with the tire iron that she broke out of the BMW with. She smashes through the window of a 2006 Lincoln Town car. She gets in there, even though it's covered with glass now, and she's trying to duck down from the dog, but the dog's senses are too strong for that. It jumps through the window. She starts whacking in the face. It jumps in and it bites her, but she's able to stab it in the back, and she moves the crowbar around to try to hurt the dog. She thinks she gets it, but then it jumps up, tries to stab her again, so she grabs the crowbar, starts moving it around inside its body again, and eventually does kill him.
She finally does get one of his weapons out of the way.
Yeah.
So that's finally some progress. But also, why would you sick a dog on your true love?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, come on.
He's cuckoo. So, oh, that's a different movie. Cuckoo. Then she gets out of the car, goes over to the rental office, and breaks into it with the crowbar. She is able to call 911, but gets a recording because they're busy, saying that they'll be with her shortly. To just please hold. She grabs every key in that lockbox, tries to go back over the phone, and then this is where Thomas starts yelling because he sees that Rocky's dead, and he's like, "Why would you kill an innocent
A
animal?"
defenseless animal. He
Right.
was a defenseless animal, which is a little bit
Oh, my
confused
God.
there.
She grabs like a nail file, and she's trying to pick the lock of the handcuffs unsuccessfully.
And somewhere around here, her leg appears to be injured, like she's having trouble walking.
Yeah, I didn't see the dog bite her leg, only her
didn't
arm.
either.
But that's what I had to assume had happened.
The position she was in, it didn't look like that would have happened. I was a little confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we just didn't see her get bit by in the leg. I don't know.
I mean, there's plenty of stuff that's happened that could explain it. I just wondered if I missed something.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. So he goes up to the rental place doors and sees her bloody handprint on the office door. So he goes inside. He clicks the taser a couple of times. I don't know, to make sure it's working or to intimidate her. I don't know. We do see on the clock that it is now 3 a.m. because he would never tell her what time it was when she asked earlier. So it's now officially Christmas Day. He picks up the phone and he hears the people on 911 saying, "Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Do anything. Breathe if you can. Make some noise." And he just hangs up the phone gently. And then he starts screaming, "Are you trying to get me fired?" Which I thought was hilarious. He's like, which is crazier. He goes, "But think about it. How are we just going to live on your salary if you get me fired? Like, this doesn't make sense." I'm like, oh my gosh, he's crazy. He's walking around.
Now you realize that. Right
Oh.
now is the point where you realize that. Yeah.
No, I know he's been crazy, obviously. But, man, it's just funny. I'm going to keep saying it. He shines a flashlight around. We do see the light go around her face, so we know he's getting close. He sees what looks like the bloody dress sticking out behind two doors. He pulls it open and it turns out just a dirty rag. But when he opens the door, she's behind him. She sprays him in the eyes, which I think is WD-40. I'm not sure, but that's what it looked like to me.
Maybe or bug spray or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? I thought you said it's a dirty rag. I thought it was like she had put a piece of her clothing there, like it was a decoy trap.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like her dress is ripped.
Well, I don't know. I like to think that one way or another she put it there as a decoy because
Yeah.
that would be badass.
Yeah, she might have put the dirty rag there as a decoy, but that's what it looked
Yeah.
like to me. But either way, yeah, I think it was pretty badass. Outside, she's trying to click the keys to figure out which one works, and she finally is able to get one to work. And it's a 2000 Pontiac Sunfire, plates A2D2405. He throws the chair through the window because she put the crowbar through the handle so he couldn't open it. As she's driving off, she smashes through a garage arm. She obviously can't drive too well because her handcuffs are still cuffed, right? She can't spin too much.
Whole movie.
Right?
Movie.
We see that she has one broken headlight. On her way to the front gate, she's trying to bust right through the front gate. He hits his car against hers before she can bust through the front
This
gate.
dude has some amazing timing.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking he must be like praying to the right gods or something, or demons or whatever.
So she drives back down in the parking garage, but he takes another way because he knows his parking garage so well. And then in no time, we see that they're both headed towards each other on the same floor. They stop, and then all of a sudden he starts revving up their engine like they're going to play a game of chicken.
And she buckles the seatbelt because
She
safety
does.
first.
Exactly. And she says stuff like, let's do this. You want to fuck with me? Let's do this.
Now she's an action hero.
Right. So
now we're doing it.
She hits the pedal. They both start going after each other. I'm like, are they just going to collide? Are they going to collide? And no, he chickens out. He pulls off first. She's like, yeah. And she drives off. But because she can't steer well with those, she still flips the car over. In the behind the scenes, yeah. No, I mean, she got away.
Yeah.
She was still pretty badass. But in the behind the scenes, they had to design a ramp to tip her without her going high enough to hit these low ceilings and damage the property because they were renting the property.
Makes sense.
But it was fun to watch them with the car trying to flip it over at the right angle. Then when she's flipped over, the horn is stuck on. He parks near her, goes to check out what happened. He pulls her head back off the horn. As he lays her back, he's trying to listen for her breath. She opens her eyes, and eye trauma affects me so much in horror movies, I swear. She stabs him with the nail file she was trying to use to pick the lock of her handcuffs in the eye.
It was clever.
And then he's there screaming. She tasers him because his taser fell when he got stabbed.
I love we missed this.
Of course,
at some point in here, he starts complaining about being always alone.
Yes.
Just always. He's just so sad. He's such a nice guy. You know what I mean?
He kept saying he was just trying to help her. He was just trying to help her.
He's just,
Why couldn't they have a nice dinner together? Everyone wants to be alone. At one point, she's like, well, let's get a drink in the new year. I'm just really busy right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know why he's always alone. I mean, it just seems like such a nice guy. He's got so much to offer. He's always trying to help. And
he seems like a hardworking man.
He's a hardworking man. He's very handy. He's courageous and stands up to bullies. You know,
that is true.
I mean, he's why would any woman ever turn down that rare gem of a
He's also as pretty as Wes Bentley is, so that's got to help give him some points. Wes Bentley is pretty. Okay. Anyway, so now he's stabbed in the eye. She tasers him to knock him down. While he's passed out, she handcuffs him to the car, and we see that the car is leaking gas.
Conveniently.
And then, conveniently. And then, as he wakes up, she uses the cuffs to start strangling him and say, you know what? You're always trying to help me. Let me help you for a change. I want to help you for a change.
Look at that character development. She's learned from him and started to be more empathetic and more helpful to people, just like he was.
Yeah. So she starts walking away. He starts screaming like, you're going to leave me here? I always spend Christmas alone. And he calls her a stupid fucking C word. Still don't want to say that.
Now that's rude.
It is rude, right? Which makes her turn around, stop, and use the taser to ignite the gasoline. She says, Merry Christmas.
That's nice.
And it's very nice. And the gasoline lights on fire, quickly spreads to him. He ignites on fire fast. And then the car explodes.
So I think that was called for. I mean, I think if you don't punish people for being rude, they're going to keep being rude, right? So
yeah,
it's very called for.
So everywhere the sprinklers start going off, and now she's frozen again because she's wearing this dress. It's cold and she's wet. She takes the keys to the garage door, is able to open it, and at 1 hour and 33 minutes into the movie, she's finally made it outside. It's now dusk, and we see emergency vehicles are coming. On their way to the garage, it faces black, and we hear firemen yelling out, ma'am, are you all right? And the credits roll. But during the credits, we get all these happy pictures of their time. And if one were only to look at these pictures, it would look like someone just celebrating Christmas at a work party. And it's hilarious how out of context it just looks happy.
The ending is fantastic. It's a great ending. I don't know if I would even call it that much of a horror movie. I think of it more as an action movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely thriller. The eye trauma gets me.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And I would be terrified stuck in this situation. I mean,
sure.
If a security guard kidnapped me and wouldn't let me go home to my family, I would be terrified too.
I would say as a horror movie, it would be a little bit not that great, but I think it's a solid action movie.
Sure.
I guess is what I was really trying to say.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's all degrees. I mean, I would definitely call it horror adjacent, if anything.
Yeah.
But it's definitely kidnapping. There's a little bit of body trauma
that
gets to me, like I said.
I mean, the horror aspect is really him being a creeper at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it pretty quickly turns into a life or death battle, which to me, I think of as more action.
Okay, I can see that.
But
I think action horror is a category.
That's true. That's fair.
Yeah. But all right. Well, the only other thing I think behind the scenes, it was cool when you're watching the part where Jim Harper is killed. They use a dummy and his head is all green, so they could just green screen in the real Jim Harper's head, so it looked legit. I thought that was pretty cool, especially for 2007. I thought it looked really well done. Anything else you want to say about this movie?
Not really. It was an all right movie. I don't think it was a huge. I don't think it was the best movie I've ever seen, but it was an all right movie.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's worth watching if you like the genre, but I would not say that it was like a must see by any means.
Sure. I think it's definitely a fun watch during Christmas.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you to the audience for listening. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe. Please give us a 5-star review. Next week, we're going to be doing Rec with Steven, found footage Spanish horror. I don't want to give too much away because I really like that movie. All right. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Merry Christmas, and don't forget to be nice to your security guard.
Oh, yes, please. Bye.